Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. My name is Kate Amrine, and I'm a trumpet player in the New York City area. As a performer, I do all sorts of different kinds of things, from playing on Broadway shows to orchestra concerts to playing chamber music with friends and working as a soloist. As an educator, I teach trumpet lessons at New York University, and I also have my own private studio of students ranging from elementary school age to adults. I love teaching and performing, and I'm so excited to talk with you today about mindset. So I think we'll start with the most obvious question of what is mindset? And for me, this means the mental aspects of playing. So the things that are going through your mind when you're practicing, when you're performing, that are going to help you do all of those things better. And they're almost like secret weapons in a way, because I really believe that the people who are thinking about these things are going to sound better, are going to teach better, are going to perform better, practice smarter than any of the people who aren't thinking about these things. So I hope this helps you. The first one that we're going to talk about today is being in the right headspace when you're practicing or performing. I'm sure we've all had experiences when you're feeling really tired or frustrated, or maybe you're really hungry and you're just like not really in the mood to practice right now. So honestly, that's probably not the best time for you to practice. This is obvious. We know this. I'm not saying that we need to be happy or 100% happy all of the time when we're practicing, but it really helps when you sit down to practice to be excited, to be ready to focus, and all of that combines into helping you get into a flow state. So I'm sure we've all felt this, maybe if you're in a sports game, if you're on a team, if you're practicing something, if you're practicing, in a rehearsal with other people, and you're just really in the zone and you're not thinking about anything else. You're just like, oh, music, rehearsal, I'm here, all of that stuff. It's not going to happen. Getting into the flow state is not going to happen if you're, sitting there daydreaming, thinking about what you want for dinner or what other homework you should be doing. And when you're in that flow state, you're operating at your best. So that means you're performing your best, you're concentrating at your best. And of course, that's why we're here. We want to be the best. So I highly recommend making sure that you're in the right headspace for whatever it is that you want to be doing. The next one that I want to talk about is visualizing. And this, I think, is really, really powerful. So the first aspect of visualizing is something that I got from one of my former teachers. And he recommended sitting in your chair when you're practicing and imagining that you are some other monster musician who you really admire. So if I'm thinking about classical trumpet, for me, that's somebody like Phil Smith, the former principal of the New York Phil, or Maurice Andre, so these amazing trumpet soloists. And so I'm sitting here and I'm practicing and I'm like, I want to sound like that. And so what you're going to want to do is sit in your chair or stand up if you want and imagine that you are them, that you're their body, that you have their hands, that you have their face. You're holding the trumpet, imagining that you are them, and then try and play whatever it is that you're working on. And imagine, how would this person play it? And I really believe that thinking about it in this way is going to make you sound so much better than if you're like, oh, I'm just me. I'm just going to play it as me. And of course, we want to sound like ourselves. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't try and sound like you. But it's kind of fun to sort of get in the head space of what is it like to try and sound like Phil Smith or Maurice Andre and really get in that environment. And I guarantee it'll make you sound better. The other really fun aspect of visualizing that I love is trying to imagine the space that you're going to be performing in or auditioning in. So this could be something like a concert hall. Maybe you have an audition coming up at school. Maybe this is just going to be in your band room, or maybe you're going to be going out on the field and doing a whole marching routine or an audition, any of those things. So imagining this space and really sitting down when you're practicing and preparing the music. What is it like in that space? What is it going to feel like? Is my trumpet sound or whatever instrument you play, is the sound going to be like really, really big because it's really echoey, or is it really dead in there? And try and play the music thinking about the space in mind, and maybe even thinking about who else is going to be in the room next to you. So who's going to sit next to you? Who are you playing for? Who's your audience? Who's your teacher? All of that stuff is going to combine and make you more comfortable. So by the time that you actually get into that space, whether it's a hall or a soccer field or an audition or a concert hall, rehearsal room, any of those places, you're going to feel so comfortable because it's going to be like, oh, I've done this a million times. I already know what this feels like, because you've practiced it in your brain. The last aspect of mindset that I want to go through is called mantras. So a mantra is something that you repeat to yourself over and over again. It doesn't have to be, said a million times, but just a couple times and said in a way that you actually believe it. So mantras could be something like, I am loved, or I am powerful, or I am a loud trumpet player. I am a great principal trumpet player. I can play really high notes. So all of these, really strong I statements, you're telling your body, this is what I do. I am good at this. I am the master of this thing, this instrument. And the more that you say that out loud, especially if you're doing it in front of the mirror, even if you're just sitting down and looking at your music stand, I am a good trumpet player. I am good at fast passages. I am good at scales. The more you tell yourself these things, you're going to be really good at that thing. Because think about it. I know we've all been in situations when you're playing maybe for a teacher in a lesson or playing with a friend and you're like, oh, I can't play that high, or I'm not really good at playing very loud. Like, that's not my thing. But the more that you tell yourself those kinds of negative statements, your body hears that. Your fingers hear that. Your lips hear that. And then they're like, oh yeah, Kate's not that great at that. And you want to tell yourself that you're really good at that. You don't want to tell yourself that you're not good at that, because then you're telling your body like, oh yeah, that person's not that great at that. So we really want to make sure that what we're telling ourselves, the messages that we tell our body, ourselves as musicians, are positive and inspiring and strong. So I highly recommend checking out mantras if that's something that would help you. So hopefully these aspects of mindset will make you a better performer. And please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. You can find me on social media at Kate Trumpet on Instagram and Facebook. And my website is kateamrine.com. So please check me out there if you have any other questions as well. Happy practicing!